Welcome back everybody. So Christmas is around the corner and some of you may want to make their own pâtés or terrine. A terrine is this. It is that little cast iron pot where you fill with meat and you can cook it in the oven to make the famous pâtés that you can slice and have with a bit of cornichon, baguette and wine. It is exactly what I'm going to be sharing with you today. It is one of the lessons that we have on my charcuterie course, very straightforward to make a Basque style terrine. Let's go. We are now reaching the finish line on our pâté and terrine scenery, and to finish for our terrine, for our last terrine, we're going to be talking about regional food again, and we're going to be talking about the Basque country, which is in the southwest of France, near the Pyrenees, and it is a region of France. It's quite interesting because it is divided in two. On one side you got the French Basque country, and on the other you got the Spanish Basque country. So they all share the same kind of roots, but they speak different languages, and of course there is different produce. Now the most famous product is the pâté basque. It is a spicy pâté where everything is minced together. There's a lot of pork liver into it. That's not the thing we're going to do. We're going to do a kind of a look-alike. I've transformed this into a terrine. So two types of pork belly and pork scotch. And for these regional aspects, we're going to be using black cherry jam, which usually grows in that region, and of course the famous piment d'Espelette, which is a type of chili pepper that grows in the town of Espelette in the south of France, in the southwest in the Basque country. Picture on the screen, you see they harvest dry these kind of chilies and they hang them on the houses, and it's a big tourist attraction. But the produce, when it's grinded in powders, it gives a beautiful spicy hot kind of thing, but not as hot as the standard kind of, Thailand or chili peppers or Asian chili peppers. It's much more mild, which is really enjoyable, and it's perfect for that kind of recipe. Okay, so we're going to do the same as before. I'm going to fast forward. I've minced already the pork belly. I'm going to cut the pork scotch, and I'm just going to show you the ingredients. Let's get started. Let's start by looking at the key flavors and ingredients, and I'm showing you that brand here because this is the French brand Bonne Maman that I'm seeing in a lot of supermarkets in a lot of different countries. So if you struggle to find a black cherry jam, if you find that brand with this little decoration, they are really good, especially for that purpose, but also for your breakfast or whatever. So Bonne Maman, it's always a kind of a true value, and I always use this. It's great. The piment d'Espelette is what you've got here. You see the color, and you're gonna have the French name, piment d'Espelette, and here I'm not gonna try to pronounce, but this is the Basque language. The Basques, they have their own language, and this is how it's pronounced. And AOP is the qualification that tell you it is the true original product that you're getting. And it is very important to check when you buy this because they are look-alike, and you really want to have the one from the Basque country because otherwise it's not going to be the same at all. What we see here is the spice mix we've used at the beginning, and this is my personal touch that I'm changing I'm changing the base recipe, and I'm adding this spice mix, which I think is going to complement everything nicely. Let's have a look at the cookware. So for the cookware, it's the same as usual for all the terrines, away from the mincer. You can use the bowl with the wooden spatula if you want to do this by hand. I'm using a long terrine, as you can see here, but you can use a square one or whatever you like. It does not matter. Nothing changes on the cookware side. And now let me put all the ingredients together and we're going to go through. So here we are. These are the ingredients we need. So we're going to start with the new ones, the newcomers. So this is the piment d'Espelette, the special French chili peppers. Who would have imagined we've got chili peppers in France? The black cherry jam, the pork scotch we know. I've made some nice large cubes, and this is the pork belly that I've already minced. I've added some fat. You can see the color, how white it is, because it was quite lean, and I want to have something nice and fatty, nice and moist. And it's going to give some moelleux. Le moelleux in French is that softness. Think of a mattress. When a mattress is moelleux, is when you go on the mattress, it's kind of nice and soft like a cushion. You don't want something too bone dry. That's going to be really, it's not interesting when it's too dry. So we want to have some good amount of fat in there. For the rest, and the standard things, we're going to have plenty of salt, the pepper, and the spice mix, the egg, and the cream. To go fast here, I'm just going to put all the seasoning when we're going to be mixing, but again, and remember, if you want, you could have pre-seasoned everything the day before, and then start your preparation, but this is really up to you. For the demonstration, we're going to go the fast way. Let's start mixing. So final recap, remember this is the last time we're going to see this terrine after we move to something else. So remember, if I'm asking you, from here you got your pork belly, try to think what needs to be done. Okay, little time to think. Well, remember, we need to have that kind of base, that glue mix, and that kind of plaster-like. So pork belly, always the basic. We've got the salt, the pepper, and I'm putting the spice. And we're gonna start to mix this for a few minutes, followed by the egg and the cream. That's always the order. So let me put the attachment and start mixing. Now you will note as well before I start that I've only added the salt, the pepper, and the spice mix, and we still have the espelette pepper and the jam that's gonna come afterwards. Okay, so 2 to 3 minutes, let's go. So here we are. After 2 or 3 minutes, we're gonna go with the egg and the cream. And same as usual, we're gonna wait until everything goes together and create a big uniform mass. That looks very good. Let's put this off and add the rest of the meat. I can't help but notice that kind of yellowish tinge, and you see that was the freshness of the egg. Because my brother-in-law just dropped some eggs, right? They got chicken, and this is the freshest eggs you can get. And look at this, when you have really fresh produce, it transforms your preparation. And this is really so valid in charcuterie. Anything you can get, being meat, produce, and even an egg, if it's top quality, it's the best. So what we're gonna do here, we're gonna use all of the pork scotch, put that in, followed by, of course, the famous piment d'Espelette. And the jam, this is the special, okay? So look at that, black cherry jam. You could put more if you want. So you see all these colors? It really starts to look interesting. So I'm gonna put my attachment back and we're gonna mix again. I'm about to start, and let me tell you that chili, I can smell it from here. It's fragrant, love it. So we're gonna mix the whole lot again. I'm gonna spend a good 2 or 3 minutes on low speed, because that's the last step here before we put this into the terrine. Wow, now look at these colors. Before we had this terrine with the pistachios, the dark, and now we got something totally different. It's like all red kind of color, like a red earth. I don't know if you can see, but these black things are pieces of cherries. You got cherry chunks, you got the chili everywhere, that powder form, and then you got the different types of meat, and the smell, the fragrance of the terrine is quite amazing. And I love making terrine. I think it's such a fun activity. And really, I hope you can understand by now that this is really not difficult. To make your own terrine at home, it is so easy. And it's like being, like one of these magicians making potions. You put things, a bit of this, a bit of that, you mix the whole lot. Oh, let's put this in the oven. Let's see what happens. It's great. So let's put it in the terrine. And there we have it. So now I've skipped the step of showing you how we put the thing. You still have to press everything, make sure it goes into the corner. And the one thing I want to mention that I didn't mention is also the actual dish itself, the terrine. It is fun to make the actual terrine, the mixture, but to play around with different containers like this and having different shapes is also something you can do. And when you have this on the table, if you make multiple ones, it can come to a great effect for Christmas or whatever. So you can have round one, oval ones, long one, high ones. There's all kinds of stuff. I've been limited here with what I've got, but on your end, you may be able to find all sorts of things. And that also adds to the fun of making charcuterie. So what I'm gonna do here, the same as usual, we're gonna skip the step of showing you the crust. You've seen this, so 10 minutes under the grill to get the coloring, and then I'm gonna cook this all the way to 80 degrees Celsius. I'll put the equivalent Fahrenheit. And I'm just gonna show you the result when it's cooked. I kind of imagine that we're gonna have some kind of melted fat that's gonna have a red tinge, but I'm not sure about this. Let's find out. What a beautiful color. So my Basque-style terrine is now ready, it's cooked, and as you can see, that red tinge. And you remember what I said about the oil, the fat, that I wanted to have a red tinge. I thought it was gonna have some kind of red tinge. Now let me get some there, some of the fat there, look at this. It's got a slight tinge to it, which is beautiful. Look at this color. Ooh, I'm so looking forward to this. But as always, I'm gonna have to put a lid on, and we're gonna have to leave this to rest 1 or 2 hours, room temperature, then in the fridge overnight. And it's only tomorrow that we're doing the slicing and the tasting. Can't wait. The next day has arrived, finally, and then we can slice the Basque-style terrine open. And there's a lot on the side. There's a lot actually of colors. You see this kind of orangey colors, lots of pepper. I wonder if I've been a little bit heavy-handed here. So let's slice straight in. It is pretty tough. I want to see the color. Ooh, that is, I love the tinge. Look at this. Wow. Let me take one off. Ooh, that's really interesting. Look at that. Ooh, perfect. All right, so re-zoomed on the slice. Now look at this. Absolutely love the distribution. I can see the pieces of Espelette pepper. It's got a nice kind of red tinge to it. And of course, tasting notes, I think I'm going to go to West. I'm going to use the pieces here. First off, let me try one on its own. It is spicy. And you can just feel it is the character of the chili. It's actually not too hot, but it is a little bit spicy for sure. Now sweetness-wise, I can't feel that jam too much. So what I'm going to do here, I'm going to be totally crazy and take this and dip it in a little bit of the black cherry jam, just to see what happens. That's a bit German-like. You know, that kind of a toast with jam and pâté. It is done a lot in Germany. You'll be amazed. It actually works. It really combines very well with the spiciness. You know, you get this kind of combination of spice on one side as you eat the heat of the chili and then the sweetness of the cherries. This is so interesting.